Hi guys! So today's Girl Meets World Fridays video is a little bit different than usual. It's not going to be very funny, it's not going to be whimsical, it's going to be a little bit serious, but it's something that I feel is very important to say, and I'm so eager to share with you the things I have to say in this video. I hope that it makes you feel less alone, or it inspires you, or informs you, or even changes your mind about things. I just hope that this video affects you in some positive way. Also, disclaimer, there is construction outside, so if you hear like that's what it is. It's not just my stomach or something crazy like that. Today I'm going to be talking about an incredible person who has just gained even more respect from me than I had already had for him. His name is Will Friedle. As an avid fan of Boy Meets World, I have watched Will grow over the seasons, and he's just always been somebody that I want to sit down with and just chat with. And I can say that even more so right now. There's a podcast, I think it's a podcast, called The Phil Morris Show, and it's done by Phil Morris, who has been in a lot of TV shows. I've seen him in Baby Daddy and Shake It Up, and he's also done a lot of voiceover work. He's a really cool guy. That's what I've learned from this podcast. He's a cool dude. And he's had people on, I think he's had Zendaya on and like so many other people, but he had Will Friedle on, and I sat down and listened to the entire hour interview. I couldn't yesterday when it came out, but I did listen to it this morning and I took notes, and it was just really thought-provoking. And if you haven't listened to it, please listen to it. It'll make you think about a lot of things. Will is just a very dedicated, passionate, inspiring person, and I highly suggest that you sit down with a cup of coffee or tea, which I don't drink either of those. I had water, but you know, that's not very important. So Will Friedle, he is from Boy Meets World, and he's going to be on Girl Meets World this next season, season 2. Here's some quick facts about him. He started acting when he was 10 and landed his first series at the age of 12, so that is a pretty quick transition there. That is a young start. He was 16 when he started Boy Meets World, and it's kind of a really interesting story because on the day of his audition, he got sick and he couldn't make it out to the audition. So they casted the part of Eric, which is Corey's older brother in Boy Meets World. They casted him, they did the pilot, they filmed with him, but turns out he was a little bit short and he was about the same height as Ben, and that just wasn't working for the older brother figure because Eric's supposed to be older than Corey. He got the part on Boy Meets World. It's crazy because he lived in Connecticut, and in the span of like one day, he was out in LA. It's just kind of an insane story, and it really shows you about how fate can just work in mysterious ways. People fall in love in mysterious ways. That's a song, but that's not what I'm talking about. I get so distracted. And he goes on to talk about fate and how it works, and he said something that I think really is important. He said, "I can fight against the stream, but I'm going to be sucked in anyway." And I think that's just something that is important to think about. And that brings us to what I really want to talk about. Will Friedle, unbeknownst to me, I don't think anybody really knew this. If you did, wow, I had no clue that he has suffered with anxiety and panic attacks. He continues to suffer to this day. I said has, but it's a present day thing. As all of you probably know, I suffer from anxiety and panic attacks, 2 disorders as well. So for me, this was really important for me to hear and to know that he is open about talking about it. It was so important to me. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what he said. His first attack was when he was 22, and it was in the middle of a take for a movie. And at first he was like, I don't know what this is. I must be dying. I must have a tumor. I have cancer. I have some sort of thing. And then he went to the doctor and they said it was anxiety, which is pretty typical, I think, for people that start suffering from anxiety. Like, you don't know what it is. It's just this weird feeling that you have, and your mind will jump to conclusions because of the anxiety, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. What is this thing that I have? And then you get told you have anxiety, and it's kind of like, my brain's not supposed to work that way. Like, that's not supposed to happen to me. I'm better than that. But the truth is that anxiety is just part of a human experience. Some of us are just more sensitive to it than others. So back to Will. He started therapy, and he also started using medication, which is why his appearance changes quite a bit throughout Boy Meets World. That doesn't always happen with medication, but it can happen. His panic attacks got so bad that he couldn't do on-camera work anymore, and that's when he started doing more voiceover work, such as Raw Unstoppable and Kim Possible, the Disney Channel series. So 15 years go by, and Girl Meets World is now on television, and originally Will declined the request to be on the show. He was having panic attacks 4 to 5 times a week, and he didn't feel ready. Fast forward to season 2 production of Girl Meets World. Will has already done 3 episodes. After 15 years of not being on camera, he has done 3 episodes. I just want to emphasize how awesome that is to hear. I bet you're asking what made him decide that he was going to do Girl Meets World. Basically, when he first declined the offer, people were making up all sorts of rumors about him, that he was agoraphobic and this and that, and he thought to himself, I have to do this again. I have to try if I'm ever going to get back on camera. And I think that is so important and such a powerful lesson for those of us that struggle with anxiety and panic attacks. Yes, you can let it dictate your life. You can let it make you stay in your house all the time because that's the safe option. But don't you want to go out there and just live your life? Don't you want to live a fulfilling life? Will and I have both decided that we are not going to let anxiety run our lives. We are going to live our lives the way we want to live them. For the first episode of Girl Meets World that Will filmed, he got a standing ovation at the end, and that makes me so happy. And he said to himself, I can still do this. And he can, and he will. He can do whatever he wants to do. He can beat anxiety. He can fight it. And it's so cool to hear this. There is an unfortunate stigma around mental illnesses, and I think something that really helps get rid of that is if celebrities speak up and they say, hey, I'm an actor and I deal with this too, you aren't alone. Because if we don't talk about it, then it becomes sort of taboo and weird and something that we fear. But a mental illness isn't something that should be feared. It's not something that should be looked at as strange or bad or weird. It's something that we should all talk about more often. It's something that a lot more people deal with than you might realize, and if we talk about it and learn more about it and learn what we can do to help, that is something that will help us end the stigma. So I have something to ask of all of you. As most of you will know, Girl Meets World Season 2 starts on May 11th, and every single day that week, from Monday to Friday, there's going to be a new episode. So here's what I ask. On the night that Girl Meets Mr. Squirrels airs, I believe it's going to be Friday, but make sure you check. I want us to trend #ProudOfWill. It took a lot of courage for him to come back, and he deserves to have all of our support. And he deserves to know that it's inspiring. It's something that he set an example for people that are struggling, and it's so special. And if we trend this for him, I can't even tell you how thankful I will be. So when Girl Meets Mr. Squirrels airs, I want you to tweet with the hashtag Girl Meets Mr. Squirrels and then the hashtag #ProudOfWill, and let's just show him how much we support him and how much we are grateful for him, and just the fact that he did this is amazing and wonderful and beautiful, and I want to show him that we care. So spread the word, please spread the word. Tell Rowan, tell Sabrina, just tell anyone you know that we're doing this. It's something really special that we can do, and it's simple gestures like this that can just change someone's day and make them happy, and it's so important to do this kind of thing, and I really want to do this for him because I am so thankful for him and to him. So spread the word. We are trending hashtag Girl Meets Mr. Squirrels and hashtag #ProudOfWill on the night that the episode airs. And Will, on the off chance that Will is watching this, I want to say something directly to him. Will, thank you. I just want to thank you a million times over and give you a big hug because you've inspired me, and I know you've probably inspired a lot more people. You've shown us that our disorders aren't the end of our lives, aren't the end of what we love to do, and it's just something that is beyond you. By you going back to Girl Meets World, by you doing 3 episodes after 15 years of having panic attacks and not being on camera, it's something astounding and something so beautiful and wonderful to see, and I can't thank you enough for setting such a great example for people with mental illness. I have so much love for you, and I hope I get to meet you someday and thank you in person because the amount of thankfulness I have is endless. So that is it for today's video. I hope this makes you think, and if you feel inspired to do so, there are so many charities you can donate to that are working to end the stigma around mental illness, and it would really mean a lot to me, probably a lot to Will, a lot to so many people around the world. There are 2 charities that I really like. The first one is Bring Change to Mind. You've probably seen me talking about it on Twitter. And the other one is a UK charity, and it's called Time to Change. Both of them are doing incredible work, and I'm not making you donate, but if you feel inspired to do it, please. It makes a difference. I love you all. Be kind to one another. That is the most important thing. And lend an ear to someone who's struggling, and just, I don't know, remember what I asked you to do. Please, please, please make these things trend. Spread the word. I really want to do this for Will. I love you all. Stay beautiful, you people, because you are beautiful. You really are. I love you. Goodbye.